Good morning, Columbia, Missouri, and mid-Missouri, elsewhere in the world. It's been a little bit of a rough morning. It's 10 after, 9:10 local time here, bright and early in the morning. I will say it was a particularly brutal morning for me. Last night, 1 o'clock, I was going to bed. Realized I have a test today at 1 that I hadn't studied a second for, so had to study for about 3 hours. So I'm surfing on 3 hours of sleep right now. I don't know how to talk, so if my takes on this show today are a little foggy, it's because I don't know how to function right now. But with that being said, my name is Ryan Crothers, and I am joined by the man, Brandon Anthony. Brandon, how is your Friday morning going so far?
Well, it's been a little stressful, Ryan, as we're trying to get Keegan Hartman on here via Zoom. It's kind of only my second time in the producer's chair, and, with the Oxcore business, it's been a little rough. But, hey, we're on air. Hopefully we'll get Keegan on here at some point. But for right now, it's just me and Ryan in the studio. We're going to be talking sports. We can test it out. Keegan, can you hear me by any chance?
You got me?
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
That's a voice I haven't heard in so long.
I think we got you, yeah.
Wow. All right. So we're good. We got it going. Sounds good.
The Bubble Boys in the show.
I'm glad to be
back. You're a little low, but yeah, we got you.
Well, guys, with me being back, obviously, let's just I hate to be that guy, but I think we need to skip out on this fresh brew. I know. Time constraints. I'm sorry that I called in and everything, and it was a little bit of a delay of a start. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be with you guys. But do you guys think we should just jump into the conversation due to some time constraints? What do you think?
Let's just do it, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, like Brandon said, it is the Breakfast of Champions here on KCOU 88.1 FM. Glad you could join us. I'm glad I'm back. Sorry, I kind of just took the reins over there. But, yeah, we got a lot to get into. We're going to be talking about Dak Prescott and his new deal that he signed on Monday worth $164 million. And then as well as we're going to be getting into making our predictions for the upcoming free agency, as March 17th is going to be the start of the greatest holiday in sports, that being NFL free agency period. It's going to start. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to get your opinion first because I just bombarded, and I'm sorry I bombarded on the party.
Hey, I let you in. No worries, man.
I appreciate you. So the thing is here, I wanted to get your take on how we felt about this deal before I give my take and everything and break down the deal itself. If you didn't know already, few days ago, Dak Prescott agreed to terms on a $164 million 4-year deal. He's getting $126 million in guarantees. Actually, if you want to get technical, it's $95 million in guaranteed money over the duration of that 4 years. And I leave it to these gentlemen to finally answer the question. To start off, was Dak Prescott overpaid? Ryan, good morning, my good friend. How are you doing today up in Columbia? I know I'm not physically there. I'm there in spirit, but yeah, man, I'm going to swing it to you. How you doing? You doing good?
Well, I opened up the show with my sleep problems. So, no, I'm not doing too well this morning, but that's all right. I'm actually here. Unlike you in your own little bubble over there in
love that.
In south of Kansas City.
You're directionally challenged.
Bubble boy. I don't know where you live, to be honest with you. So
you don't need to know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So anyways, Dak Prescott finally gets paid. He did not. Well, I don't know. Does he deserve this money, in my opinion? I think he deserves a lot of money, but I wouldn't say he deserves this much. 4-year, $160 million deal with America's team from the 80s. I don't know if they're America's team really anymore. But, you know, we did see it with the Cowboys this year, though. they were absolutely horrible without him leading the way. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott was terrible. And when the Cowboys traded for Andy Dalton, the joke around the league and the fans was that, well, Dak Prescott isn't even the best quarterback on that team. Why should he get $40 million a year? Well, we then saw with Andy Dalton that he is so bad, and Dak Prescott is really the only reason that the Cowboys are even relevant in the league still. That and the division is horrible. So, Cowboys-wise, I think I would be happy with keeping Dak around because he makes that team, but I'm not sure if he was worth every penny.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan on this one. I think it was a good deal and it was long overdue for Dallas, but I don't think he was worth every single penny. You see it a lot around the NFL now. There's a lot of teams that are overpaying their guys just to kind of reset the market and match whatever other teams are doing. But I don't think Dak Prescott is of up par with Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and guys like that, and he kind of got paid like he's top tier in that category.
Well, that's where you would be wrong, Brandon, because when you look at it going back to 2019, granted, Patrick Mahomes came off of an MVP season in 2018 as he led the Chiefs to an AFC championship against the New England Patriots. We all know how that goes. Even D Ford knows how that goes, or how that went. I didn't forget about you, Kansas City. But anyway, going over to Dak Prescott's statistics, this is the money-making year of all the years. You can look at 2016, you can look at 2017, you can look at 2018. Regardless, Dak Prescott has been a top 10 and top 15 consistent quarterback, and you've seen it in his statistics, whether it be completion percentage, total yards, touchdowns, etc., etc. But 2019 is arguably his money-making year. Let me get into the statistics and give you this. So, 388 for 596 passing, a completion percentage of 65.1 in 2019. That ranked Dak at 13th in the league. Additionally, Dak passed for 4,902 yards, finished second in the league behind only, guess who? Jameis Winston in 2019, not to mention Prescott, finished fourth in the league in touchdowns category, throwing for over 30. Matter of fact, just 30 on the dot for the Kansas City Chiefs, for the Dallas Cowboys in 2019. And guess what? The only three quarterbacks to beat him in that touchdowns category were Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Lamar Jackson. I do believe. I'm pretty sure Lamar Jackson was the number one that year, which is shocking, but I'm pretty sure he was number one. Anyway, all that being said, that just goes to prove that, maybe it wasn't all the years that he's been in the league, but at least that 1 year, the Cowboys have seen promise, and, he proved to be better than guys like Patrick Mahomes. And granted, you're going to say it's one season, but the Cowboys are the ones that are paying his paycheck. They're the ones that are paying his salary. To me, I don't think he's overpaid because, as you alluded to, the market always changes. And I think that Dak Prescott's deal is going to be one-upped when we get to the summertime and Lamar Jackson signs his big deal with the Ravens. Brandon.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think this is a guy just coming off a big injury this past season. That was kind of devastating. He's out for the season. So I don't know, considering that, if it was worth it for the Cowboys. Because you don't know if Dak Prescott's going to come back from his injury and be the same player that he was before the injury. And by giving him all this dough now, you kind of risk that in terms of you risk him kind of like another Jimmy Garoppolo situation. You risk him not being on the field like at all with his injury history, and then all of a sudden you're paying him all this money. So.
Yeah, and I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. I like him a lot. I think he's a really good quarterback. I would probably put him in my top 6. I don't know if that's official or not. I'd probably put him in my top 6 quarterbacks in the league right now. But I will say, Prescott, if you look at yardage-wise last season, the season where he did, break his ankle and was out for the year, if you look at it, 3 weeks after he broke his ankle and he didn't play for 2 weeks, so he didn't finish that one game, and then 2 weeks after that, he was still leading the league in passing yards. He was still leading the league in passing yards after missing 2 games and a whole quarter of another game. And then he was still in the top 5 for 2 more weeks after that. So it's like this man was having a clear-cut MVP season and would have won MVP if he would have stayed healthy. So, maybe he is worth it. I mean, we saw the monumental collapse of the Dallas Cowboys, and that's because he wasn't there. He wasn't leading the charge. The Red Rifle was, and that's not something any franchise ever wants to have lead their way.
Hey, give Red Rifle credit, man. What the heck? Why are you dissing on the Red Rifle?
He played horrible, that's why.
The Red Rifle is among the second-string quarterbacks.
Go watch his games this year.
Okay, but shut up.
I'd take Jake Luton over him.
Ouch. And then you had Ben DiNucci. That's another story for another day. Ben DiNucci, of all people. Absolutely insane.
I didn't say I wasn't hyping up Ben DiNucci.
Reliable. If worst case scenario, that was probably going to be one of their 2 options. You had Ben DiNucci and Andy Dalton stepping up. That's a real serious quarterback room right there. Sarcasm. But what am I trying to say here? Let me get into. Oh my gosh! I literally lost my train of thought. Here I was going to make a point, and then I literally lost my train of thought. I don't even know where to take this conversation now that I lost my train. Oh, yeah, let's break down Dak Prescott's deal because everybody wants to know the numbers. So let me go ahead and get into that. So Dak Prescott, according to Over the Cap, I looked at and did my homework yesterday, guys. I wanted to make sure at least I had my end done and was able to do my homework. I know.
Not surprising.
I don't know what I was on, but you know what? I powered through and got some pretty good research in. So I wanted to take a look at the structure of his deal and see how it broke down over the duration of the next 4 seasons. And by the way, I did a Breakfast of Champions extra point a couple of days ago. That is a new thing that we are implementing. And next week, I don't know who's taking it over, but if you want to go hit up our social medias, let me plug you in at BFestofChamps1 on Instagram and Twitter. You can go check out our extra points. They're also going to be on YouTube. Ryan and Brandon are up next with their extra points. I've already done mine, so I think they might get one in. We'll see. I don't know. But
we'll get one in. I don't know who's going to do it.
With free agency coming up, that might be a thing. All right, different story. So, looking at this real quick. So, heading into the 2021 season, they structured it to where Dak Prescott's only going to make an astounding $9 million for this season. That is the base salary. His prorated bonus, or signing bonus, remember, it was a $66 million bonus. That is topping Russell Wilson's $65 million bonus that he signed back in September. So, so it's a $13.2 million of that $66 million in the prorated bonus. In 2022, Dak Prescott is set to make $20 million with the $13.2 in the prorated bonus. And then 2023, he'll make $31 million, $13.2 in the prorated bonus. And then 2024, he makes $29 million with the $13.2 prorated bonus, but also a $5 million roster bonus to that goes with the base salary. So in total, he'll make $89 million plus the $5 million. That's that $95 million in guaranteed. Simple math there. And then if he meets the criterion for the prorated bonus, he will get that other $52 million, putting him at around roughly $140 million when it's all said and done. And if you look at how much agents ask for of that $164 million, it's like, 4%, 5%, something like that. So that amounts to the right amount. That was what he's going to get. So it's a phenomenal deal. Great structuring by the Dallas Cowboys. They actually, just yesterday, they freed up $17 million in cap space from, ironically, the offensive line. La'el Collins, Zach Martin, and Tyron Smith all got their contracts restructured just so they could save in cap space. So you had to rob Peter and pay Paul. And so they've got $17 million, it looks like, extra to deal with in free agency, which might be instrumental considering, they've got a lot of parts to focus on defense. My question is to you, does this contract pretty much guarantee them as the favorites to win the NFC East and even win a playoff game in the next couple of seasons? Ryan, what do you think?
NFC East, 100%. I mean, it's NFC least. That whole division is garbage. Big Garbo over there. The Washington no-names, I don't know. They just cut their best quarterback, so that they might. I think the Washington no-names have the better chance. The Washington football team, they have a better chance than any of the other two to challenge Dallas for that one. The New York Giants, they're going to be an interesting team next year because they'll get Saquon back. And the Philadelphia Eagles, oh man, that is a dumpster fire and a half right there. But I could see Jalen Hurts pulling up some magic, that Boomer Sooner magic that all these quarterbacks are pulling now, in the Bama magic, I guess. But I don't know. I don't see the Cowboys. It's their division to lose at this point.
Brandon, let me ask you this, an even better question. Are they Super Bowl material to watch for within the next 4 years of Dak Prescott's contract? Do you think the Cowboys have that it factor or obtain that it factor over the next 4 years while under Dak Prescott's contract? Do you think he leads them to the Pride Lands?
Hell no. That's what I think.
Okay, book it.
That was loud.
Yeah, they're not Super Bowl contenders. In my eyes, under Dak Prescott. Cool, they signed Dak Prescott to a mega deal, but the Cowboys always, to me, are the team. Sure, I think you can make a strong case for them winning the NFC East, but they're always one of those teams when they make the playoffs, no matter how good they're supposed to be that year, they always find a way to not get over the hump and not make it out of the divisional round. So I think it's a little bit of a stretch to put them in the contender category with Dak Prescott. Plus, it took them so long to even sign Dak Prescott. But now they finally did. I mean, plus, I don't really believe in Mike McCarthy. I don't know how you guys feel in that regard. But
he's in the hot seat, man.
But Keegan, you got to remember, this is Brandon talking. The San Francisco 49ers are going to go to the next 4 Super Bowls. So the Cowboys are nowhere near Super Bowl contenders with the Niners out there.
Ryan, you are
say that, but okay.
You are a phenomenal individual for putting out that segue. That is an awesome segue into this topic. So we were going to have a fresh brew before we got in, obviously, but due to technical constraints, we weren't able to do that. But let me break some news that just happened this morning. Cam Newton signed his 1-year deal worth $14.75 million, a huge upgrade from what he signed last year. It was a 1 year he came into, or it was $14 million, 1 year, $14 million for this upcoming year. That is a big difference from the $1.75 million that he signed with the Patriots last year. Why do I say that was a good segue? Because the Patriots aren't done. They are still looking at quarterbacks according to sources. Keep in mind, these are the names to watch. Marcus Mariota, Mac Jones, and yes, Mr. Brandon Anthony, Jimmy Garoppolo is a part of that list that the New England Patriots will be sniffing around and potentially be bringing back. They have been linked. Brandon, with him signing, with the Patriots signing Cam Newton to that 1-year extension, I guess that shows a little bit of trust between the organization and Cam. What are the odds that you think they bring in another quarterback? How likely is it? It sounds like it to me. It's very well in the works. And, I mean, what are your thoughts about this deal restructuring Cam Newton and then potentially bringing in another quarterback to compete?
Well, I know for a fact the Patriots aren't gonna go into 2021 with Cam Newton as their only signed quarterback, considering how last year went. So I definitely think they're going to make some more moves to quarterback positions. Why they were able to sign Cam Newton to a cheap deal so that whoever comes in, he'll just be a backup. I think. Will I think it'll be Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't think so. I don't think John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are going to want to give him up. Back to New England unless it's for like a first-round pick or something, because the Patriots where they stand could have an opportunity. I think New England's at 15 or something in the draft. So the Niners, if if they were to deal Jimmy Garoppolo to New England, are going to want that 15th pick to try to use to take a quarterback because they're going to be in the quarterback market if that's the case. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Lynch and Shanahan are gonna budge with that, but I do think it's a well-known possibility. I've seen linkages to Jimmy Garoppolo from the Patriots standpoint, I just don't think the Niners are interested in dealing him unless it's for a better cause. So that's just my take. But I do think they'll make another move at the quarterback position, whether it's Mac Jones, whether it's whoever else is out there as a free agent.
I just thought of something that Brandon, you will absolutely love. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
No, like you will actually love this.
Okay. Bring it on.
What is it? A three-way trade. The Niners, the Patriots, and the Texans. The Niners get Watson. The Patriots get Garoppolo, and I don't know, and the other things to go there. Would you do a three-way trade where you give up Garoppolo and get Watson? Is that something?
If it was for Watson, yeah, I'd do the trade. I'm just, yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. I'm calling it right now.
The only way I'd be thrilled with giving away Jimmy Garoppolo is if it was for Watson at this point. Maybe Sam Darnold, but I haven't gotten myself to that point yet.
Yeah, so you heard it here first, folks. I'm basically a genius, just like Russell Wilson's going to the Chicago Bears. Deshaun Watson is going to the San Francisco 49ers. You don't even have to think about it because it's already going to happen because I called it.
You can book it.
You can book. You don't even need the bookies. Did you guys see that, though, 2 nights ago? The bookies took all of Russell Wilson's landing odds off their sites after it was tweeted out that the Chicago Bears are looking to make a big move for Russell Wilson.
Wow.
Anyways, that could be something we could talk about some other time. But yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen now. Now that I say it, it's going to happen.
Real quick before we go to break, I just got an update. Tom Brady has reached an agreement with the Buccaneers on a 4-year contract extension that voids to a 1-year extension that locks him into Tampa through the 2022 season. So it's a 4-year extension, and then he's got it voids the 1-year extension that he signed previously through the 2022. So he's going to be a Buccaneer for longer than 2022. That's just breaking moments ago from Adam Schefter. So there's breaking news. And guys, I'm not kidding. I think we're going to have more breaking news on the other side of the break. I'm watching closely on a couple of things right now, but I guess, real quick, your reactions before we step aside to break. Ryan, what do you think about a 4-year extension?
Well, what I'm seeing is that it was just a 1-year extension.
Oh, on a 4-year extension. Okay, agreement with the Buccaneers. Well, it's saying this is Adam Schefter saying it was a 4-year extension that voids a 1-year extension, so it locks him into Tampa through the 2022 season is what it says. I take it as it's 4 more years.
Yeah, Bleacher Report saying it's just a 1-year from Rap Sheet from Ian Rappaport, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure I will retire from my own job before Tom Brady retires from football.
Collect your 401k now. Brandon, what do you think about him staying with the Niners?
With the
Niners, the Bucks.
It doesn't surprise me one bit. I think he'll play out that contract, obviously, and maybe win another Super Bowl at that time frame. I'm not sure. Can't really count him out, so there's that.
All right. Brady's sticking around. We're sticking around. We got more football coming up at the end of the break. We got a trade. This is Christmas, guys. March 17th is free agency, and with that, we bring it old school. 1 year ago to this month, could you remember? It was the first time that we had Ryan Crothers in the studio, and we were making predictions on unrestricted free agents and their landing spots. Guess what? To celebrate that 1-year anniversary, he is now our co-host and our comrade, and we get to celebrate it, or get to talk about it coming up at the end of the break. You are listening to the Breakfast of Champions here on KCOU.
Not sure what we're opening up back up here with in the studio here on KCOU 88.1 FM. Just kind of found a song randomly and threw it in there. I realized we didn't have an opening song. So there's that. Rookie producing stuff. Anyway, welcome back here into the studio, 88.1 FM, KCOU Breakfast of Champions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got our fun stuff now on the back half of this show as we go through free agency, our UFA predicted free agents. Kind guys, Ryan Crothers, Keegan Hartman on Zoom. How are we hanging here this morning?
I'm tired, and I'm a little stressed for my test later today, which is the reason why I'm tired. So I've been better, but it's Feel Good Friday, so I guess I need to start feeling good. I'm drinking some purified water from Hy-Vee, and I'm going to go home and study some more. What better than that? But I will say, hey, shout out to Mizzou basketball with a nice win in the SEC tournament last night against Georgia, and tonight they will play against Arkansas, which
huge game.
If you boys remember, we played Arkansas in the Rally for Ryan game, and that was the first time we've lost the Rally for Ryan game. And Xavier Pinson, nickname X, he posted on his story last night. He said, "Revenge for Ryan." So I think that Mizzou is going to have a big game. It's a very tough game against Arkansas tonight. So if Mizzou wants to advance to the next round, I believe it'll be the semis if we win, then they need to beat Arkansas tonight. A little border rivalry there. We hate Arkansas because Kansas is in the name. All right, Keegan, how you doing?
Oh, man, I am so excited for this next segment. Guys, when I say that this is going to be one of the busiest free agencies I've ever lived through, the free agency period, I'm not kidding. This is going to be one of the busiest, one of the most craziest, because we've seen a lot of moves already. You talk about yesterday, Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher of the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, Kansas City, I still didn't forget about you. Were released yesterday, and that freed up, I want to say, roughly $18 million in cap space for the reigning Super Bowl champions. Of course, they got their butts handed to them in the past Super Bowl. You can't forget that. But now their offensive line is arguably the worst in the AFC West, and now they got to go back to the drawing board. You're not going to go into a season relying on Mike Rimmers to hold it down for Patrick Mahomes. We saw that win against Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul and all 8 of his fingers. So I think that this is going to be a tough time for them, and it's going to be a tall order. I don't know how they're going to be able to overcome this little obstacle of replacing those the veteran offensive tackles that they have. You have to keep in mind, they spent a number 1 pick on Eric Fisher out of Central Michigan in 2013. And then Mitchell Schwartz, he hadn't missed a game for, 9 seasons in his career until last year. In Week 6, he exited with a back injury. So we'll just see how that goes into the offseason. But those names to mention, a lot more. Guys, I don't want to keep you guys waiting. We got an unrestricted little pick-em matchmaker here. And, guys, I don't know who to start with. I guess I'll start with Brian because, Ryan's feeling the most energetic in the studio tonight. I'm kidding. Brandon, you're both energetic. Hey. You're both pretty. Ryan, do you have a matchmaker here on Breakfast of Champions edition of Unrestricted Free Agent Matchmaker? Say that 5 times fast.
For who?
Well, anybody. I mean, is there anybody on the market that an unrestricted free agent that you think you have a good destination for this unrestricted free agent going into free agency? Do you have anybody in mind?
Yeah, I do actually. After lots of studying of the free agency market last night and completely all in on talking about free agency today, I've landed on my lock for free agency, and that is Eric Fisher to the Raiders. Boom.
Oh, all right.
You can book it. They got rid of Trent Brown, so I believe that one of Trent Brown, Mitchell Schwartz, or Eric Fisher will be the Raiders' tackle next year. Obviously, it's probably not going to be Trent Brown since they couldn't agree to a contract with them, but you never know. I think Oakland needs to go out and replace Trent Brown, or Oakland. They're not there anymore. A fun fact, by the way, the last thing the Oakland Raiders ever did was lose to the Denver Broncos. But anyways, Vegas needs to go out, and they need to sign a tackle with losing Trent Brown. And I think, did I say Eric Fisher?
You said Eric Fisher.
Eric Fisher's a lock. There it is.
All
can
right.
book.
You can book it. Well, I got mine, and it just got broke out yesterday that he was released from the New Orleans Saints. Emmanuel Sanders, wide receiver.
My guy.
And my prediction is, yes, I am going to go with the San Francisco 49ers are going to bring him back in free agency. You look at the year 2019 after the Super Bowl, couldn't really afford to pay him, so they let him go, and Shanahan was on record saying that was the toughest decision they've ever had to do in San Francisco. I think now that he's back on the free agent market, they're going to make another stab at him, pair him with Debo and Ayuk with the wide receiver group. I think that could be a good veteran presence once again for San Francisco, and I also think they're going to let Kendrick Bourne walk if that is the case. But that's my bold move. You can book it. Emmanuel Sanders is coming back to the Bay.
Whoa. Hold on. Backtrack real quick, sweetheart. What do you guys got in cap space right now? What are you rocking with?
We actually have the 9th most cap space in the league.
Yeah. That's great. I want numbers. What are you rocking at right now?
Okay, if you want numbers, then I'll give you numbers.
All right.
It's going to take a couple minutes.
Okay, stand by. I'll give mine. I wanted to know. I was curious. All right. So mine comes yesterday. Technically, it comes Tuesday because they didn't reach an agreement to franchise tag this man. And it's beyond me because, he's kind of been, okay, granted, Chase Claypool, see, I've already given up my name that I'm going to pick. Chase Claypool has been efficient for this team and, has been the big contributor as he stepped on the scene last year and was just lit the league up, lit opposing secondaries up. And so where does that put Juju Smith-Schuster? In an Indianapolis Colts uniform. That's where it puts him. I think that now that T.Y. Hilton is going to be hitting the market, I don't think there was any sort of, indication of re-signing him or bringing him back. And now he's a free agent. He's going to test the market. I think why not give Carson Wentz a chance with Juju Smith-Schuster? He's proven to be efficient. Granted, he's not utilized a lot in the passing game. Of course, Claypool took over a bulk of his targets last year, and you probably won't get him, what's the word? I literally just blanked. Michael Pittman, there you go. Michael Pittman out of USC. They got him last year. I think the Indianapolis Colts, obviously, he's going to be the Claypool for the Colts, but Juju's one of those guys that can come in and maintain and hold down. He's a great run blocker. Use him on these third down situations. He's a reliable receiver. You're not going to give him the ball every single time, but he comes in and he takes up that T.Y. Hilton space nicely. And plus he's a younger receiver, and he's better than any receiver Carson Wentz has had to work with in his past. So automatically, I could see this man doing well and thriving with a guy like Carson Wentz throwing him the football. Granted, yeah, sure, it's a downgrade from, Big Ben, but hey, you got to keep the Pennsylvania connection going. So Carson Wentz hooks up with Juju Smith-Schuster, and you light it up in Indianapolis. So yeah,
wow, I like that one. It's a good one.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Indianapolis, Juju Smith-Schuster. Well, I did find the salary cap numbers. This does have us at 15th, $18 million in salary cap for 2021. However, I think that did go up because we moved some contracts around or whatever. I think we're up to 23 or so million headed into free agency. So that's where we're at.
Oh, and I should mention, my brother just texted me. This is a good point that he brought up. My brother's listening to the show. It's crazy. Shout out to Will Bro. The USC connection. Michael Pittman attended USC. Juju Smith-Schuster attended USC. So fancy that. That's a small world there. So,
wow.
USC. So that's a good point by my little brother right there out here taking notes of everything. I like that touch. So yeah, that could very well be a combination that you look for heading into free agency. Do we have any second ones, or is there anything else that we should note of?
I will say your little bro is the reason that I'm on this show, because if it weren't for your little bro, I would have never met you that day at Stankowski Field. Plus, we all know your little brother is, in fact, the smartest of the two. So Shout out.
Don't argue.
Shout out to your little bro there.
Oh, Aiden. Shout out to Aiden. All right, real quick. We want to get to some news yesterday that broke also as well. Let's just get into it because this is horrendous. So the Houston Texans are another conversation, guys. Deshaun Watson's. I'm not saying anything about Deshaun Watson's future because it's still up in the air. But was anybody able to catch a glimpse of the head coach for the Houston Texans press conference yesterday? Because it was about as worse as Jerry Jones's press conference with Dak Prescott. This was an absolutely horrendous deal. So moments before his press conference, I'll give you a little bit of backstory, some context. Moments before his press conference, the head coach for the Houston Texans, I'm blanking on his name, I'll get the name in a minute, basically did a podcast and was saying that, if the option's there, they're going to move on from Deshaun Watson. Now, moments later, he had his press conference with the news media and was saying, no, we don't plan on moving from Deshaun Watson. We plan on staying with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's our quarterback. He wants to be here. It was about the most awkward thing I have ever seen in my life because everything that he said about Deshaun Watson wanting to stay in Houston, we all know to be 100% false. Deshaun Watson does not want to be in Houston. He wants to be traded from this corrupt organization. Is there a chance, though, we could see Deshaun Watson staying in Houston, or are the ties going to be severed sooner than we think? Brandon, what do you think?
I think it's going to take a long time, and we're going to keep hearing this buzz about him not leaving Houston, him leaving Houston, him being traded, him not being traded, and then we're finally going to get to kind of like mid-June. And then that's when Houston's going to be like, all right, now we're ready to trade Deshaun Watson. And at that point, I think a lot of teams are going to already have their plan in terms of who they want to be, their quarterback to be. So there's going to be less suitors at that point. I think that's what Houston's going to do. I think they're ideally going to move him because, honestly, I can't tell you, but as a GM, I don't know if you would want to go into a season with a disgruntled QB. I don't know how well that'd work out for you. So I don't see them retaining him, but I do think they're going to wait it out, kind of build suspense, and kind of wait until after the draft and after free agency, after everything, and then finally be willing to trade him. And then that way they get probably more compensation from him, and they have less teams to choose for in terms of who they trade to. That's my take. I think it's going to take a while, but I think inevitably they'll trade him. Ryan?
Yeah, I actually don't know if we'll see that. I don't know if we will see Deshaun Watson in another uniform next year because I don't think he'll be wearing a uniform next year. I think the Texans are going to refuse to trade him despite teams throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at Houston. But I don't know. I don't see them trading him, and then I do see, after that happens, I see Watson holding out and saying, hey, I'm not going to play for you guys. I told you millions of times in the offseason, I don't want to play for this organization. I played my last snap. Trade me. I've asked so many times, and you won't. So why would I go to OTAs? Why would I go to training camp? Why would I play for you when I specifically said I hate it here? So I don't know. I think I don't see them trading him. Maybe, like Brandon said, they'll hold him out until right before the season, and then maybe try and trade him there. But I think this whole season it's going to be Deshaun Watson could be traded this week, and then doesn't get traded, and then Week 8 comes along, and he won't be traded, and next offseason he'll finally move on.
David Culley. And let me go ahead and confirm the name for the head coach because I just blanked. I was like, man, they've done so many wrong moves. Who knows who their head coach is? But David Culley, this is the first time he's ever been a head coach. He's held previous positions like the wide receivers coach. He was the assistant head coach for the Baltimore Ravens last year, more so an offensive coordinator, really, if you want to get specific. senior offensive assistant head coach. Yeah, really, that's all he's been, a wide receivers coach and an assistant head coach. Never has he held the spot of head coach. And, God, I don't think he ever wants to hold the spot of head coach after this little tenure with the Houston Texans, but we'll see. I mean, we don't know. Maybe Deshaun Watson has a change of heart. Highly doubt it. After you've ruined the organization, Bill O'Brien. Poor David Scully. I'm literally blanking David Coley, excuse me. Poor David Coley, as he comes into an organization that's already corrupt, disgruntled, and twisted every which way. As Bill O'Brien left his footprint, so to speak, on the organization after doing all the trades he did. And then on top of the news yesterday, you had Mark Ingram sign a deal with the Houston Texans. He comes in and adds depth to David Johnson. Ryan, what do you think about Mark Ingram making the transition over to join his former assistant head coach, David Coley, in the backfield for the Texans? Do you think that's enticing for Deshaun Watson?
Excuse me. I actually think that's a good move for that Houston organization. You gotta not only focus on Deshaun Watson. You actually have to try and make amends and make a full team out of it. And let's be honest, David Johnson is not 2016 David Johnson. That was a 1-year thing. So David Johnson had some games last year where I was like, oh, wow, maybe he's average. Maybe he's an average running back. But no, he showed that he's below average. And, just like Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins steps into that offense and even Gus the Bus, which, by the way, is the only Raven I like, is Gus the Bus.
Gus the Bus.
The sound I just made with my voice trying to speak there remind me of that Vine where she's like, you got lipstick in my Valentino white bag, and then the mom's like, anyways, that's where my mind is at this morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think Mark Ingram, he's a good running back if he's given a primary role, which he did not see any of that last year in Baltimore. So I actually really like that move for Houston.
I like that move too. Inevitably, though, I don't think it's going to prevent Deshaun Watson from wanting out. For sure not.
No.
But I credit Houston for bringing in a guy and adding depth in the running back room and kind of putting the Deshaun Watson news aside and just basically trying to rebuild their team despite everything going on. So I think that was a good move.
All right, well, guys, I don't know what else to talk about. We've kind of...
What do you think? Keegan, you think it's a good move?
Do I think it's a good move that they brought in Mark Ingram on a 2-year deal? No, I think it's pointless. Why would you... Okay, look, you have so many other things to tend to as an organization. Well, okay, yeah, sure, you're bringing in depth. Mark Ingram's a veteran. Of course, he's got the tie to David Coley. Yeah, sure, he might be able to enhance the run game with David Johnson also, but really it was a pointless move. Like, what was it for? What was it for? There was no point in that. There are so many other things you could tend to.
Houston a running game. They didn't have a running game last year.
They also don't have an edge. They don't have a defense. They don't have a secondary. They don't have an offensive line. Dude, take your pick. They don't even have a receiver.
I'm not saying that was the best move they could have done, but I'm saying it was a good move. They now have a dual threat of below-average running backfield, which 2 below-average running backs equals 1 slightly above running back. So you never know. Next year, here's what's going to happen. David Johnson and Mark Ingram are going to both rush for 1,000 yards, and it's going to be super weird because – I don't know. Ryan Crothers will be leading the Houston Texans as quarterback.
Dude, if you become GM, I promise things will change. Things will change. Deshaun will want to come back.
I'll be quarterback.
You
can book it. I'm going to be the quarterback of Houston Texans next year. I have a better chance. Here's my thought. I do have a better chance than Deshaun Watson at starting for the Texans next year. And I don't know if that's really far stretch. Anyways, you said you don't know what to talk about, Keegan. Well, that's where I come along.
Your sleep deprivation is killing you right now, my man.
No, I know, but this is where I come along with the. Am I wrong though? Am I wrong? I have a better chance at starting for the Houston Texans next year than
You're
Deshaun
not
Watson.
wrong. You're
exactly.
not wrong.
What's my sleep? I can't talk, but what's my sleep deprivation having to do with that take that I just had, Keegan?
Yeah, Keegan.
We all have a chance to become the quarterback for the Houston Texans the way it's going right now. So
Deshaun Watson doesn't have a chance.
yeah.
See, so we all have a better chance than Deshaun Watson.
We are really just milking these next 3. I don't even know what to do at this.
Like he's saying, he's blaming my lack of sleep on that take, but it's true.
It is true.
Exactly. Yeah. Come on, Keegs. Anyways, mute his mic. So I think it was either last week or 2 weeks ago. In the NHL world, Artemi Panarin, one of the best players in the league, was under investigation, and Russia had to be held out. But he returned to practice 2 days ago, so that could be a good sign for the New York Rangers. There's my little 30 seconds of foreign language to 90% of the United States, and I'm done.
That's it. All right. Hey,
We're done too as well. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Breakfast of Champions. That was a milk the last 5 minutes, but hey, we got through it. So thank you for listening to Breakfast of Champions. We'll see you next week. I'm Brandon Anthony for Ryan Crothers and Keegan Hartman for Zoom. Via Zoom. We'll see you all next week. Have a good one, everybody.